is PsychOpinion. Now your hosts, Jake, Rob, Steve, Jen, and sometimes Liza.
Hey, yep, there we are. I'm always like, I don't know when it starts recording. It doesn't matter. Hey, everybody, it's PsychOpinion. It's PsychOpinion. And Rob and Jen. And tonight we have Tyler joining us.
Greetings.
He's actually a little bit of a crossover. He's another local podcaster here. And if you ever want to check out his show, we're up here in motorsports at all. It's called Into the Apex. And they're a pretty interesting group, so you might want to check them out. Anyway, I usually start off with something, but all I think that's really going on in the world right now is everybody's getting ramped up about these fucking debates. That's what I saw when I looked at the news. Anyway, that's what's going on in the world. Other than that, speaking of what's going on in the world, tonight we're talking about what's going on out of this world, possibly in this world. Tonight is Aliens episode, specifically the Greys. Like the dude that's invaded Tyler's home there. That guy. By the way, guys, just so you know, turn that guy around. He's got an ass on him.
Butt.
He's got a nice butt.
Got that whole cake.
Yes, absolutely genderless. He does not miss squat day in the gym.
Yeah, that alien has an ass. Maybe that's what I'll name this episode. That alien has an ass. And he's kind of cute,
Oh,
too.
he's cute.
So are Greys normally like just full genderless?
As I understand it, I'll preface this with I was invited here not as a Grey expert, although I do know that often they're called Zeta Reticulans. But knowing Jake here locally, we had a funny conversation about how my brother and I were scared shitless about aliens as children. And it kind of follows me to this day that your typical horror movie, alien monster movie, really does nothing for me. I mean, I'm dead inside. No fear, no reaction. But you show me M. Night Shyamalan's Signs or Close Encounters of the Third Kind at night, and I'll be covered in a blanket. Like that still gets me.
And why is that?
Well, as young twins, we're identical twins. We grew up in the mountains of Western North Carolina. Our dad was just very much into the alien lore back then. I mean, you see it come back now with Ancient Aliens and different things. Like it's really coming back now. I'm sure we can get to that. But back then it was, the Face on Mars, all that type of stuff. And, a lot of movies came out. Fire in the Sky.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good. So that was one that scared the hell out of us.
That would do the trick.
Yes, that Close Encounters of the Third Kind had its kind of whimsical moments and humor, but that also had the fear factor of waking up in the middle of the night and something that looks like this guy, a little less friendly, is going to take you as a kid. Literally in Close Encounters, they took the kid and the kid disappeared till the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And so our dad convinced us that this was going to happen at any point and at any night as we slept. He told us that he saw something when he was young, lights disappearing out of his bedroom window. So it was just this whole narrative that any car headlight going down the road in the middle of the night, flashing through the window, it was these guys coming to take us.
It's aliens. Oh no.
I'm pretty sure today that would be some form of child abuse.
Yeah.
But
Perhaps.
I have a question. Did
Yes.
he use that to like make you, I don't know, like be a good boy or something like that? Like be a good boy or the aliens are going to come take you away.
Oh no, it was just pure. This is a thing that's real in the world. It was real.
I feel like from knowing you though, Tyler, like you have the same sense of humor. Like I feel like you'd fuck with your kids like that. Not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was the, we weren't a religious family, but if there was anything we really believed in, it was stuff like this. That it was like that's real. We would watch the shows on History Channel and whatnot, like the real documentary coverage shows, as Area 51, and we were like, I believe we were Fox Mulder from the X-Files. X-Files was another one that scared the hell out of us.
Yes.
Definitely
Every Friday night was
That's right.
pizza and X-Files. It was a family tradition. We all sat in front of the TV, and it had to be X-Files.
Yes, that was one that we watched.
One thing I wonder a lot about aliens, though, is like you see a lot of interpretations of the Greys. So, like, why do we think that they would look like that? Because they're kind of humanoid. Like, what are the chances that they look more like that? Or do you think they would look more like that than, say, like aliens from, like, I don't know, Independence Day or something?
Yeah, the Independence Day aliens, I mean, that was a movie that came out when we were young, and we got into it quite a bit. But yeah, those kind of squid-like, like slimy aliens, it was almost too much. Specifically, the Greys were scary to us.
Maybe they're scarier because they look more like humans.
Like, they do, and
they have that expressionless face, like we talked about with clowns. Remember the clown episode, guys? You know, like you can't really see what's going on there. You know, that might have something to do with it. But
I feel like they might be a little bit more scary to people because it's a perversion of what we find normal. So it's like you see something that is close to a human, but just enough off that you know deep down, if you see like a silhouette of it or something, you know for a fact that it looks like a human, but it's not. It's like, you know, the squid aliens or anything like that. It's something different. You don't know what that is, but finding that like aberration where it's just slightly off, I think is a lot more disturbing to a lot of people.
I don't know if it's too soon for this. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it's kind of like a byproduct. These gray aliens, the way they look, the way they behave, and I've read this. This is not my original idea, but it's a byproduct of years of human evolution. They are us from the future. The brains have become larger. There's become no need to have body hair because of whatever the product of the evolution. There's no need to speak because they don't typically ever speak in any depiction, in either their abduction stories or the movies, but they communicate telepathically or through some kind of cybernetics or whatever it might be, and that they are us in the future, that type of thing. So that's one interesting piece too.
And this may be counterproductive, me saying this, being that I'm on a podcast and all, but I mean, the idea of everybody just shutting the fuck up kind of sounds nice. Just saying.
Well, you're communicating through your mind. This is Elon Musk and what is it called? Is it Cyberlink? I'm going to get it wrong, but Neuralink. It's Neuralink, Elon Musk, and what he's working on. I mean, maybe it'll be here within our lifetimes or the next generation.
I wonder if we could tone people out though, because there's some annoying people. Like, would they be just as annoying, but just like in my head, like I can't.
Just tap your head. You're on mute. I can't hear you now.
Yeah, exactly.
Go away.
I would do that with a lot of people. I probably only program about 6 people I actually want to talk to on any given day. But so I know it's probably too soon, but you know I got to ask you. So if you saw a hot alien, would you bang her?
Well, the genders are neutral. So
yeah, but what if she was hot though somehow?
I would have to visualize or develop a concept of she for something like this. If you mean a hairless entity.
But what if? Well, I mean, that alien's got a nice ass, but I mean, like, you know, what if they had like female parts and you're kind of like, like, I don't know. I always ask this question. We discussed ghosts, and I had to everybody a hot ghost. I mean, you know, it's kind of my thing. So
maybe if she stopped abducting me long enough, maybe I would find interest.
Maybe she abducted you because she's attracted to you. Did you ever think about that? Maybe
I wish somebody would do that. My doors are always unlocked. Somebody please.
Well, there's always a possibility that this is going to shoot out into space somehow, and they might hear you. I think.
Yeah, I think aliens have Spotify, I would assume. They definitely all listen to Joe Rogan.
I'm sure they do.
Oh, for sure.
They have to. But you know what was interesting, speaking of which, was what was I watching? I think it was the one with what alien movie was that? I think it was the one with Jodie Foster.
Contact, written by Carl Sagan.
Yeah, and I think that first
really written by Carl Sagan?
It was a novel by Carl Sagan, and they turned it into the movie. Yes, I was in college. I was a huge Carl Sagan. I went through my Carl Sagan phase.
Carl Sagan's awesome. I love him too.
Oh yes.
I had no idea. That's amazing.
That was a movie we watched as kids. That it was like, where are the Greys going to come in? And that's a movie that teases you. It's very science based, and the aliens you never actually see them. They're just at the end. It's her father, and that's it.
So correct me if I'm wrong, though. Is that the one that was really interesting because they actually did get a transmission from us, but it turned out that the first thing they saw was like Hitler?
No, that was a "They're Gonna Save Us" movie. Actually, I don't. Well, I don't want to say that was no.
I thought it was because I thought that they like zoomed in and they were like, "What is this image?" And then they like turned it and zoomed in and it was Hitler. And then like
it could be. It's been a while since I've seen that one. I'd have to revisit it.
The military was all like, "Oh fuck," like they're violent, and we were like, "No," or not. I wasn't there, but whoever was there, that was the voice of reason, was like, "No, that's just like a transmission they picked up. Like it has nothing to do with violence. It just turns out that the first thing that they got and were able to send back happened to be like 1944 or whatever. Fuck Hitler, you know. It wasn't that they were Nazis. There's not Nazi aliens. I hope they are bald, but that's another.
They don't have. They're hairless. They can't. They're incapable of the mustache. But yeah, Contact was where they sent instructions on how to build some kind of device or ship. It's kind of the spinning.
That's the one I'm thinking about.
It failed. So I'm not. It's been a long time, so you could be right about the imagery.
It's been a very long time here as well.
I think it was because the different images to make the spaceship were like put into that image of Hitler or something like that, where it was.
You could be right. You could definitely be right on that.
It was something like that. That was a good movie, and the scariest shit about that is that we have no idea how that kind of technology and shit works. So like, she thought she was like gone for a while, and then they were like, "Hey, watch the footage," and she just fell.
Yes,
and that was it.
It was just static for a very short time. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking. That was scary, and it kind of scared me because I was like, man, imagine being in that fucking situation where you're like, no, this whole fucking thing happened, and they're like, actually, it didn't, and you're the person that knows. Yeah,
and she's going through the wormhole, and that's where you begin the leaving Earth, and it's a long wormhole sequence there, and you're just waiting for what's going to happen. It's kind of like the end of Interstellar when he's kind of going into black hole. It's like you're on the edge of your seat. Yeah. So yeah, we could talk aliens, we could talk space films, and it all kind of overlaps. You're waiting to see the aliens.
I'm not going to lie to you, Tyler. Rob's been sitting here basically just dying for this episode because the guy just loves fucking sci-fi and aliens.
I'm the space guy out of the crew.
Jen's over there like, I don't know about aliens. And
I know a little, but
well, my brother and I, we were never Star Wars people. We were diehard Star Trek people, like Deep Space Nine, TNG, Voyager, like that. So that was another foundation for us growing up. Was that type
DS9 is the best.
I agree.
TOS.
No.
Yeah.
The space war arc in Deep Space Nine, how long it stretched and how deep it was. Awesome.
Dude, if it didn't have fucking Spock in it, it wasn't worth shit. That's all I'm saying. Even like the dun 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 dun. That was
you got the music was good. Yeah, the music. But when they fight each other by doing this to each other's back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome, man. And they had just like the best. You know what? It's funny though because I see all the memes and I love like the memes about the red shirt guy. It's like you're fucked if you're the red shirt guy in the original series. That guy dies every fucking time. Bad business.
Rob's a red shirt guy.
Oh,
I mean,
in real life.
Yeah, in real life.
Yeah, there you go. I am an
yeah.
actual red shirt guy.
You're gonna die first, Rob. Sorry,
hopefully. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Nobody gets that, but that's okay.
So before I saw, and to kind of continue here, she brought it up, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit. Before I actually even saw Fire in the Sky, I actually saw a documentary. I always say that wrong. Documentary. Doesn't matter.
Very European of you to say it the way you first said it.
Documentary. And I saw it on what actually happened with Fire in the Sky, and that was such a cool fucking story. And it seems to me like that probably I honestly think that happened because like they explained in the film I watched and all that, like these guys had nothing to gain. Like they literally became fucking outcasts. Like people wanted nothing to fucking do with them and everything. Like they had nothing to gain from lying.
They didn't even want to come out and tell the story.
Yeah.
But they kind of felt like they had to. But yeah, no, as you said, they had nothing to gain.
I think for me, that story is probably the most believable story I've ever heard about him.
Yeah, I would agree. That was one that, the story, knowing that the movie was based on what's, given as a true story. I mean, obviously people are always skeptical, and it's smart to be skeptical. But I mean, that one was realistic. It was also very scary if it were true, because that abduction scene and scenes and the way they did it in the film was terrifying as, a kid, which is what my brother and I were watching. I mean, that was, the mud alien, like a few different types of alien. Like you get to the next levels and they're more scary and they look like just dried up mud creatures. Then they put the little thing over his mouth and cut the hole and the drill comes down. I mean, it doesn't get more scary than that.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's it's the epitome of an abduction scene. And it's done a few times in a few different movies, but that's why Fire in the Sky is perfect. And I watched it within like the last year, I would say. And it's still, to this day, is really shocking. That scene alone, the abduction scene of when he's on the actual alien ship, is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
And no one else has been able to do another scene that is as unique or as terrifying or just anything close to being the next step. It's just, that movie is there. It's got it's the pinnacle. Hopefully they'll do something, I guess, with alien spaceships and abduction. It's always, you see the ship, it's landing on Earth, and then the person goes onto the ship, and then that's it. You don't see the insides, you don't see what happens. It's super rare to see it. I just want more. But I'm happy with what Fire in the Sky gave us.
Yeah, as old as it is, you watch it today, it scares me still.
Still amazing. It's still so.
Well, you were fucking traumatized as a child, don't you? I mean,
that was a key part of it. That movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and then on the tail end of my impressionable age, Signs scared me a good deal.
I was going to say, and I didn't want to go on until I asked Jen. Jen, did you see Fire in the Sky?
I did.
Okay. Did you have any notes on that? Because I usually like to ask, because I don't want to cut you off. Jen's
I do have some notes. But I don't know if I want to do like a sort of almost like a summary, or if I want to just go into like some of the trivia I found.
Trivia. Okay, these two right there. Yeah. I don't know if I could answer the questions, but I would say go ahead and go.
Not that kind.
Not that kind.
Not trivia. Not trivia questions.
Oh.
Just trivia facts.
Trivia facts. Is that a thing? Yeah. Isn't trivia like the nature of trivia itself a question? So basically, you just found fun facts.
No, that's philosophy, Jake. The trivia is the actual answer at the end. So I'm with Jen on this one.
No, trivia, like when you say, hey, I go to trivia night, I'm not going to sit there and listen to some asshole tell me fun facts. You can ask me fucking questions, and I'm going to be like, Garfield, or whatever the fuck the answer is. And then
Marky Mark.
And then I get, Marky Mark and the Funky. Whatever the fucking answer is, I'm going to say that, and then they're going to give me a point, and that's how trivia is. That's what trivia. Or I get a little piece of pie in my pie.
Trivial
holder.
Pursuit.
Yes.
Trivial Pursuit. Yeah.
Play piece. Yeah.
What Jen has here is fun facts.
There we go.
Sure. Okay. Well, we'll talk to Internet Movie Database, and we'll tell them to change it to fun facts instead of trivia.
Wait a second.
That's where I got it, and it was called trivia.
I've done that before, and actually, I think what you did was you just wrote down the answers.
What?
Because I feel like there were questions, and you were just like,
questions.
Could you form it like a question?
IMDb doesn't like, here's a paragraph. Have fun with the.
Well, I think the guys want some trivia, though.
I wish I had done that. That would have actually been more fun. It would have been more interactive. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll do that on our next show.
I'm down for some fun facts.
Next show's not about aliens.
Yeah.
It can be, though. There's nothing saying it can't.
All right. This thing has gone on way too far. Tell us a fun fact, Christ sakes.
Okay. So the real Travis has said that his memories of the abduction were obtained by hypnotic regression. And then also, and then the abduction sequence in the movie is partially from several dreams the director had, because Travis Walton resents this movie because it misrepresents his abduction. So the abduction that you see in the movie is not actually Travis's abduction. That is actually the director's dreams and interpretation of the story. So it's actually the dreams of the director.
But I saw the real thing because I saw the documentary.
Yeah, the documentary, yeah.
But you could have formed that like a question. You could have said, how did Travis remember his abduction? Was it regression hypnosis? Was it osmosis? Was it in a dream? Or did he get hit in the fucking head and all of a sudden remember? I mean, that's right.
Yeah.
And he started taking those lion mane supplements and started remembering his childhood memories.
Could have went on a fucking acid trip and been like, oh fuck, I remember it. See it all now.
Sleep paralysis.
There was an alien movie with sleep paralysis too. What the fuck was that? Anyway, Jen, I'm sorry. Continue. I do that a lot.
I think I know the answer to that, but we'll hold that to later.
I don't have too many more. Yeah, there's only like a.
So it was actually fun fact.
No, there's more than one. I kind of like took 3 of them and like combined them. Anyway,
this is getting more and more confusing.
So do you guys remember the guy in the movie? His real name is Greg Schaefer or Sheffer.
I don't. It's been a minute since I've seen that one as well.
Yeah. He is kind of an asshole. He's kind of like
he's the asshole. I know.
Yeah, he's the asshole. Yeah.
Okay.
So he was almost fired from the picture because he was a little too similar to the character he was playing. He had too much attitude and he was often late. So.
Fuck that guy.
I mean, I think it was good though, because one of the things I liked about it was that the group of guys, like some of them are quite different. And honestly, I kind of felt like I wanted more of them to be even more different. Because, most of them were just kind of generic guys, to be honest. But some of them were really cool. Like the guy that's kind of like an asshole, you always need somebody. There's always a guy in every group that's a little bit of an asshole.
Right there.
Yeah, you're Craig Schaefer.
I felt like a good mix. It was a good group. It wasn't like
Maybe
everyone
just the 3 guys or 4 of them.
It was just a good. I don't know. Everyone knew each other. They weren't.
Yeah.
All buddy. It was a good mix. I don't know. It made the whole story a lot more believable.
Oh yeah. I just wish that all of them had been a little bit more interesting instead of just really. I feel like there was just the main 4 that were kind of interesting, or really 3. Really
How
3.
many were there? There was like 7 or 8
in
guys.
all.
6?
I think there were 6.
All I remember is I was like, when I first watched
about a year or so.
I feel like I think some inappropriate shit sometimes, and this one was like, when the guy got abducted, one of my first thoughts was like, Jesus, that's kind of awesome because they don't have to pack in there like a fucking clown car anymore. Because they were all like getting in that one. It was like, man, if I was like sitting next to that guy, I'd been like, oh shit, you got abducted. Homer. That was one of my
More room
thoughts.
for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh.
Takes an abduction for me to get a little fucking leg room. But no, so going from that, and you said it's one of the most terrifying movies, I got to go with, and I got to bring up Signs, because everywhere you look, it's like that one scene where the fucking alien crosses in that video. Kids party, or it was a kid's party, and then they saw the alien cross. Like, everybody feels like that is the most terrifying fucking alien scene of like all time.
I think everyone had like their stomach drop when they saw that. I don't know of a single person that's like, it didn't faze me at all. No, it affected everybody.
Yeah, that was a good kind of a jump scare moment. And that movie hit on the crop circle thing, which was really smart. And, the scene where Mel Gibson goes out at night with his flashlight thinking it's kids and goes into the corn at night, and you see the leg turn and you hear the clicking sounds. Like, that's sight, sound, everything, like on your senses. And it's just, that gets me. The fact that that's an alien. Now you make it a killer clown and I'm not scared.
Right.
Like, that's the bizarre thing about
me.
Yeah.
So here's
that's
the difference between you and me. You had, Close Encounters. You had Fire in the Sky. Killer Clowns from Mars ruined me as very, very, very small child, like 5, 6 years old. That movie traumatized me. I watch it now and it's like, whatever. But yeah, no. Alien Clowns tortured my past. So now I watch it and it's nothing. But yeah, when I was a child.
Well, back to Signs though, the fucking part where he's chasing the guy around, or he's chasing the alien around that. So that had a lot of really good scenes. You know, now that I'm really sitting here picking it apart in my head, like I really enjoyed that. And it was a Shyamalan. We all know I love Shyamalan. So, but yeah, I mean, we talked about this in the fan theory thing though, and the one thing that didn't make sense though, and you weren't on the fan theory one, Tyler, but they were talking about how they might have had religious aspects because of Mel Gibson being a priest and the aliens being hurt by water, and them saying that, well, maybe it was holy water because he lived there. But like, it wasn't, I don't think that's what it was, because they were getting hurt by water everywhere. But
yeah,
like,
all across the globe.
They had to fucking know water was here though, right? Like, that's the part that I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Maybe they never touched it until it was too late.
Maybe.
That
Maybe they
would
don't
suck,
have
man.
water on their planet. I don't know.
What if we went to a planet and there's like lava and we were like, oh, that's nothing, and then somebody put lava in our face and we're like, fucking melts me. They fucking live in lava. But
my flesh is burning. I need that.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty wild. But the water, what was I getting at? I forgot.
Well, you were talking about the holy aspect because Mel Gibson played a priest, I think. So because he is a holy person, water around him had the chance to become holy water. Or
but that was
I don't know if he did a blessing in the movie. It's been a while since I've seen it, but
that's like Mars Attacks. They can't breathe air, but at least they came with fucking helmets.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like that shit made sense until they played Slim Whitman, and then that went out the window. But yeah. Anyway, I digress. So, did you have any notes on Signs, Jen?
You were talking about the water, and I wanted to point out something I thought was interesting. You know, the young daughter also doesn't really like water. She keeps saying it tastes funny.
Yeah.
No, you know what?
I always thought that was kind of weird.
But it wasn't because she didn't like water. I think that the whole thing is that I felt like that movie was trying to tell us that she was kind of connected somehow because she left
and
the
that
water
she knew
everywhere.
It was going to be a weapon.
Yeah, because then when they told Merrill, is that his name? They said swing away.
Yes, yeah.
And then there was the water everywhere. So he was like pounding the water with the bat all over the. But I think it was because she had some kind of maybe sixth sense, if you will.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that Sixth Sense. That was another Shyamalan movie anyway. No pun intended. But I think that's what it was. I think she knew somehow. And that's why Mel Gibson's wife, when she's died, said, tell Meryl to swing away.
Yeah. I like that theory. That makes it even more interesting.
Yeah. I didn't even know it was a theory. I just thought it's how it was.
No, that's good.
But, anyway. So we need to get back to Beeman here, or Tyler, sorry. We talked about the childhood, man. So I need to know more about your childhood. I know that that's not it. So so was it more for fun, or was it more for like, was this like was this like a scarring event on purpose? Like you thought it was fun to screw with you, or was it just like a joke, or just what he was into and you guys took it the wrong?
It was not anything negative, really. It was something he was into, and it's something that we therefore became into. And it was there were things that were on TV, like the UFO shows on whatever channel, Discovery Channel, whatever it might have been at the time. All of that plus the cinematic pieces, the movies we're talking about, and you put all that together, and that's just what you're exposed to. And it's for my brother and I, like I said, for our dad, he believed it was real. It was kind of a belief thing, and it was like Mulder and X-Files, I believe. It was that type of thing. So you see it all, and you assume it's got to be real. Like, this is what I think is something that's real. It's
Had your father lived, he might have been able to be a cult leader. like a Scientology
well,
type.
he definitely would have liked the resurgence of all this and the government stuff, the military
coming
side
out
of
saying aliens exist. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was crazy.
it. Yeah, Commander David Fravor, which Joe Rogan says every other episode on his show. A lot of the military jet sightings just close to where we are up in Norfolk and Virginia Beach. Apparently, there's a lot of activity out there, according to the reports and all that. So that opens up all of that again. I mean, for me, it had died down, and I kind of moved on from it. A good alien movie would with Graves would continue to scare me now, or put me on edge and be an entertaining, scary movie type of thing for me. But now with all of these, U.S. military releases and different projects, you see it on CNN or whatever news channel. It's getting more legitimacy. It kind of brings that curiosity back.
It does, and that's what freaked me the fuck out, because Rob and I hang out quite a bit, and Rob knows me really well. And when the government admitted that there's fucking aliens, I was freaking out about it.
Well, there's a project. There's a legitimate project to understand what they now call the UAPs. They're not really saying that it's aliens. They're not really saying 100%, but they're saying that they're
unidentified aerial phenomena.
Yeah, they're redefining UFO.
Term.
Yes, but there's definitely 100% confirming that there are these things that we don't know what they are. They could be from anywhere, and that is confirmed. We just don't know what they are.
But people, skeptics and stuff, I've heard them be like, "Oh, it might be some technology from China or Russia or something." But we would fucking know that. There's no way.
Could be. I don't know.
And this shit's been happening since the fucking before the 50s. But I remember the 50s seems like it pops out to me as the time for aliens.
Well, that's Area 51. That's when all that happened, right?
Yeah, Area 51 was the thing, and now it's the Tic Tac. So one of the video with Fravor off of the coast of San Diego, really reliable source is, because the other jets with him also saw this. The Tic Tac hovering by the water, kind of churning the water up, and then when the jets approached, it zoomed up at an impossible rate. So I'll toss this out there to make it weird. There are theories that this is a advanced species or advanced something. I've read lately that it could be AI. Now AI is starting in the mix all of a sudden, of course.
No.
But it's something that lives in the depths of our oceans, which are unknown and unexplored. Something that's from this planet, not even from other planets.
Yeah, we might not even be the top species of our planet because we have no idea.
So that's some
no idea what's down there.
Yeah.
Some abyss shit.
Also, if they are from out of this world, then the James Webb Telescope actually captured city lights, or what seems to be city lights. I say city lights on a planet, however long away. But that is something that the new super telescope in space has found.
I feel like Jen would say it's swamp gas.
Shut up! I would not.
That's her answer for any unexplained light.
When you guys are talking though about creatures in the depths of the ocean, that makes me think of Lovecraft stuff. Is Cthulhu real? Is he just actually an alien?
We don't know. He's just an elder god. But what are elder gods?
The ocean makes so much sense. How much of the ocean have we explored? Fucking 10% or something like that.
And you don't need body hair to be down there.
No, you really don't. If anything, body hair would almost be weird down there.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, they're very pale. They're like those little shrimp at the bottom of the ocean that are
translucent. You wouldn't have light, so you'd become clear or clearish
like
or
that.
white. Maybe the dark eyes would help you see better in the depths of the ocean.
Larger. I think we've just cracked the case through just examination of the specimen.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if anybody's seen this yet because I brought it up 4 fucking times. Jen and Rob probably should have seen it by now, but Cold Skin you're making me think of this movie called Cold Skin. And I've recommended it a couple times, where these almost alien looking creatures come out of the ocean and attack this lighthouse in the movie. So maybe there's something to that. Maybe it is aliens. They never really say. They just kind of make it out like it's sea monsters or creatures, but they look a lot like that guy. Not Tyler, but the guy next to him.
Yeah. Close in complexion.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting, actually, since we're talking about that. Like maybe that, I mean, I don't know if the director intended it to be. Maybe it is an alien movie. You know. Point is, I talk about it all the time. Fucking watch it, guys. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I do need to watch it.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. I just wrote it down. It's gonna go on my.
It is like one of my favorites. So the government said there's aliens, or sorry, UFAs, UFOs,
UAPs,
IUDs,
UAF,
whatever the fuck it is. And it seems to me like it could only be aliens. Now I'm wondering though, like, so UFOs have been seen as many different shapes and sizes and colors and shit over the time. Do you think there are different looking aliens, or do you think those are different spacecrafts? Like we have like a helicopter, we have like, you know, spaceships, we have fucking airplanes. I mean, is it like different? What would be your theory? Do you think it's different life forms, or do you think it's one community or planet?
So I just want to say something real quick. So with what you just said, now I'm picturing like, I don't know, like your typical flying saucer shape is like the Toyota or the Honda for us.
Okay. But the Tic Tac is like a Cadillac.
Yeah,
Maybe,
that's the new. Yeah, that's the modern one. It used to be the saucer. Now it's the Tic Tac, and that's become the thing.
I could rock a Tic Tac. I want to be Tic Tac.
I think it's the Navigator from Flight of the Navigator. The ship just kind of molds into whatever it wants to be.
Flight of the Navigator.
They're unmanned drones. They're unmanned drones, is what the new theory is.
I think there might be somebody manning it.
It matches the time, you know, in the past, the saucer, it was the two little aliens driving it like a family. And now, these days, everybody's theory is, since we have drones, all of a sudden, you don't need to have a life form in there to do complex things. So it kind of matches what we have technology-wise.
So we're just pushing our shit on other people. Like, we're projecting, basically.
Well, you have to believe, Jake. You have to believe.
Yes.
It's a belief system at the end of the day.
Step one.
I mean, I believe more in aliens than ghosts, but I mean, at the same time, I don't want to fucking get like dissected and shit, but I wouldn't mind seeing an alien.
Well, were you brought up to believe that aliens were real? Because Tyler said that he did. I was actually raised as well, fully to believe that aliens existed. It was not a question in my mind of, you know, if they are real. It's they're definitely out there. And that was kind of my parents' influence, and it just, but how can we prove that they're out there, or when are they going to reveal themselves? But the infinite amount of space, there's got to be life.
Yeah,
maybe they're just waiting for us to fucking kill ourselves, because that's bound to happen, and then they're going to take over our shit.
It could be. I mean, that hits it on the head, is the vastness of everything. You get into Carl Sagan, and you kind of get fascinated with all that. Now it's Neil deGrasse Tyson, and you kind of look out at all that and just consider it. I think the biggest thing is, are they these narrative aliens that film and popular culture have, as if they are gods that are watching over us, ready to save us? So in a sense, it can become like a religion. Then you have just the crude, unentertaining science piece where it's two cells that are alive on some planet, and that's the alien. I feel like it's those two extremes. One's more entertaining and fun than the other.
That is still an alien.
It is, yes. It's very exciting, but it's also not, because they're not going to save us from ourselves.
Well, then there's the Star Trek idea of they're not going to fully come out and say hello until we reach a specific point in technology to where we can do a specific thing. In Star Trek, I believe it was faster than light travel or warp speed. And that's when you become part of the intergalactic connectivity of aliens.
Yeah. You become the alien. Yeah. The prime directive. The prime directive.
Prime directive. Yep. You can tell who the Trekkies are here.
That's right. That's right.
So what's interesting is that brings me to Knowing. Have you ever seen Knowing, Nicolas Cage?
I have not seen that one. I have not seen that one.
Now it's Nicolas Cage, so Rob, you've seen it.
Surprisingly, no. That's one I have not.
Like every Nicolas Cage movie I bring up, you haven't seen. But
I didn't know that was I didn't even know that was an alien movie, or I might have watched it. I thought it was just another shitty Nicolas Cage movie.
It becomes an alien movie at the end.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to watch it because I'm just, I don't know, fuck another cheap Nicolas Cage movie. But this thing was actually pretty good, and it was like there was all these events that basically led up to the end where pretty much like civilization was kind of going to end there, and they wanted Nicolas Cage's like children or whatever, like the aliens, I guess, to, I don't know, keep the species alive. I mean, it has been a little while since I've seen it. I think I may have been a little intoxicated when I watched it. But
come join our zoo.
Yeah. Well, whatever the case was, is that he had to trust. He had to trust that it was like better for his kids because the world was going to end. He couldn't go. They were like, no, we're just going to take the kids. But yeah, maybe that's the way to save it. Is maybe what they need to do is take some of the kids and start it over because the kids don't have all the fucked up ideas that the adults do. And I mean, you could probably make a peaceful existence if you took away all of our bullshit. But then again, there's also the theory that maybe like human, like nature at this point is just fucking corrupt. I mean, in general. I don't know. I don't know if we're really worth saving. I mean, I hate to be all deep and shit. I'm not trying to bring us down, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe we're just not that important enough to be
to
be visited or exposed. Exposed
Not
to
yet.
interesting phrase, but
That's also true. I mean, realistically, maybe they're like, look at these boring fucks. Like, they don't even have like Spaceball, whatever the fuck that is. Well, Spaceballs. We have Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
Has anybody watched the more recent Netflix series 3 Body Problem or any of that?
I have. I don't think I watched the last bit of it. I think I moved on to something else, but I thought it was really good.
It was very good.
It was very interesting.
The cutoff of communication is where they say, you are bugs, and they don't care. You know, they were trying to help almost like a religion, and then they decide that we're bugs, that humans are bugs. And that's exactly what they say. So maybe that's what we are, Jake. We're ants, and they care. They look at us as we look at ants.
Yeah, considering they're
Ants
so
are really
much
strong, though.
evolved into the next step that they look at these underdeveloped creatures just like ants. Yeah, that's not too far from what I would expect aliens to look at us.
I could see us being bugs.
We have no concept of the difference between us and them, just as ants probably don't have a concept of the difference between they and us.
Now, I will say one of my
deep.
big fears of aliens are if aliens are like mostly insectoid. So
yes,
aliens are the super evolved bugs. I don't know if I could handle that well.
What are we talking here? Super Troopers?
Yeah, Starship Troopers. Yeah,
Starship Troopers. Super Troopers. No, it's not Super Troopers.
One of the first times as a child when our dad was watching that movie on HBO or something, and whenever it came out, and my brother and I, as middle schoolers or elementary schoolers, got to see a breast. We were like, that's not an alien.
I think that was most people. I mean, that came out when most of us were pretty young. So
yeah,
what most of our generation remembers was, ooh, boobies.
What is that?
I kind of remember that reaction a little bit to Alien. Sigourney Weaver. Just saying. Top of Aliens. She was wearing that little white shirt with the nipples.
I liked her in Galaxy Quest myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver in general is kind of underrated. Like, she's, I think, a lot better than people give her credit for, honestly. She's got a pretty good range, too. I mean, most people don't know that. They just kind of think of her as, like, Ripley, but she's been in a lot of shit.
Ooh. She was like Jane Goodall and Girls in the Mist. She was a whole bunch of different. She's got depth and range. I'll definitely give her that.
Yeah, absolutely. Incredible actress. So insectoids?
That's how I would say it. Insectoid.
Yeah. Large insects out to kill you that are smart.
We're all about this. We're all roughly the same age here. I think Tyler may be actually the youngest of this group, but do you guys remember the show V?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. How old are we talking here?
V was.
There's two of them.
80s?
There's the 80s
the
one.
original.
Yeah,
the original. And then there's a newer one. I want to say it's 2010, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't really watch the new one, but the old one stuck with me. We're not talking about insectoids there. We're talking about the reptilians.
Mm-hmm.
And that was an interesting theory because sometimes you come across and they say like a lot of these politicians or rich people are like, reptilian because they're, I don't know, their fucking eyes are weird or something. I don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, there was like I saw a picture where it looked like the eye was weird on somebody sometime. I don't know. I don't care. I didn't pay attention, but the reptilians, yeah, probably. That's this is a side thing, but do you know how like annoying it is now with fucking AI? It's like I feel like having children, like they're never gonna know real history. Like they're gonna come across the picture of like fucking Bob Marley and Kurt Cobain and be like, oh man, they were around the same time. Because like now this AI shit is like, I mean, it's just so fucking crazy.
I mean, they'll fully understand that, SpongeBob was the reason we stopped having World War One.
Yeah.
Because AI is going to get so advanced that it's, who knows? Who knows?
It's like history is literally going to be erased and it's just going to be a whole bunch of memes. Like they're just going to live in meme land. We might as well call the world meme land from now on. AI meme land. Welcome to AI meme land.
Reminds me a little bit of Idiocracy. Have you ever seen that movie?
Absolutely.
Idiocracy,
Absolutely.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Were you?
We're on the fast track. We're going to that, and then our space travel is going to be WALL-E. We're all going to be fat people.
Oh, yeah, WALL-E.
Next thing you know, you're traveling the galaxy with Barf.
So
it's back to Spaceballs.
Back to Spaceballs.
Pizza the
I was going to say, like, back to aliens. So we have, like, kind of the humanoid grays. We have insectoids. We have reptilians. Is there like any stories of like any type of squid thing, or is that just movies? I've heard things of like horse-headed people. Yeah,
the idiot that jumps in water with the horse head on. He's like a TikTok sensation.
Mostly from books from my parents from when I was a child. But I haven't heard anything about them. So maybe that was just like something that was happening in the 70s that they were reading about. But like, what are there specific classifications for any of these? Does anyone know for certain?
First of all, Jen, you should be excited here because I think we literally found 2 people that their parents fucked more than your mother did. Second of all, there are like I'm not gonna say squid, but wasn't that the thing like Independence Day? They were kind of like
those were looking. They were definitely the most slimy squid-like types of things. But at the same time, that didn't do as much for me. The invasion aspect is scary, but War of the Worlds does that better than any movie like Independence Day. The scariness of War of the Worlds,
Well, I've also heard. But like with the squids, if a race of creatures evolved in a gravityless environment, that they would most likely have, these tentacle appendages, something to help them move around. So to me, that doesn't seem too far out of possibility. I think that if we do find aliens, they are going to have some type of way to move what little environment they have around them, or to go through a vacuum, to something to help them move through a low gravity system. I don't know.
I think it'd be fucking hilarious if they didn't understand gravity. Like they like step out and they're just like
they wouldn't have a spine. Yeah.
Well, it's not that they don't understand it. It's just they evolved through
evolution. That's the thing.
Without any. So
this is all evolutionary experiments of aliens like the Greys. The only problem with believing it is that they look too much like us, and we're stuck in our imaginations. True evolution in all the planets out there, whatever it is, whatever's really out there, might look like something we can't even conceive here, which is kind of fascinating.
Like War of the Worlds. I actually like that movie. and I know you guys probably don't because everybody hates Tom Cruise, but I actually like the War of the Worlds.
I like it.
Tom Cruise is special. I like it.
Yeah, the concept is fun.
I like the sound that the ships made when they.
Yeah.
Like,
well, War of the Worlds is like that's an old black and white movie. Like it goes way back. That was an old. Wasn't that
H.G.
based
Wells.
off of the radio broadcast?
Yeah, Orson Welles, and people. Our dad always told us as kids about that and said people believed it and committed suicide because they thought we really were getting abducted, invaded.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that is
it got real. It got real.
That's what I'm saying. Is that like so? When you explain like the interest, because you explained it kind of like, well, my father was interested in aliens, so we became interested in aliens. But it kind of sounds almost like, okay, if my dad was into cars, so I was into cars. That doesn't sound like what you're saying. What you're saying sounds like my dad was into cars, and he would constantly threaten that I'd get hit by them.
It was more of a belief system. If I said, like, we weren't a religious family at all, but if there was anything that was believed, like on belief, like obviously there's no proof, it was that. It was that the gray thing is real. I mean, it wasn't an everyday, like we studied the Book of the Gray, like thing, but it was just generally speaking, that was if there was something on, like a TV channel, it would be, he'd put it on and we would put it on and we would pay attention to it. And we'd say, we were on the side of the people that were advocating, the ufologists and people like that. Stanton Friedman, he's passed away, but he was always on those shows. And we were on their side. We were definitely not on the skeptical side at the time. That is for sure.
So were you guys like, we would like to thank the Grays for allowing us to have this meal tonight? And,
not that deep. Because we didn't think, growing up, we didn't think based on the movies that we've talked about tonight, that they were here to help us. We thought they were here to abduct us and fuck with us. That was the theory. But I would like to submit one we haven't mentioned that is maybe the most fun alien movie. They Live with Rowdy Piper.
Yes! Someone said it. Has everyone here seen They Live?
Okay, so I own it.
I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I love They Live. Yeah, I've definitely seen it. Obey.
I'm all out of bubblegum.
We'll buy the rights to that now, do I?
Yeah, we'll forgive the potential anti-Semitism undertones to it all and just enjoy it for what it is. A 20-minute or so fight scene between Roddy Piper and some other guy.
Very famous fight scene.
I will definitely say Roddy Piper was my favorite wrestler when I was growing up. That helps.
I didn't like any of it, but the cream rises to the top guy is pretty fun to me because I like to say that. Oh yeah.
Oh, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, that's it. Let the cream rise to the top. Oh yeah.
So what about what do you got? You can't just bring up They Live. So like, obviously bubblegum and.
I just wanted to play that clip and laugh about it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well then,
and also mention the anti-Semitism, but
yeah,
it's the undertones are very prominent. I don't even know if they're
for sure
at that point.
Yeah, obey, consume.
Yeah. Where you have these ultra spectrum glasses that allow you to see the fact that a percentage of the population are aliens,
and they're running the world,
and they are 100% Illuminati, 9 Jew bankers, the reptilian. Yeah,
the scene of bubblegum was in a bank. How much more on the nose does it need to be? But hey, it was fun. It was a fun movie.
Jen, you got any notes on They Live?
I've not watched it in a while, but I do genuinely love that movie.
It's definitely dated.
Yeah, it's kind of dated.
I think it's
but
late
the
80s.
Concepts are still, relevant.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's very good.
Mm-hmm. It's still a classic. I actually rebought when they started coming out with 4K movies. That was one of the very first ones I bought on an actual hard disk, just to have a classic updated for newer viewing.
That's one that would be fun. I don't know if anybody since we're of the same generation and ilk, ever watched Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Definitely.
That would be a good one. That'd be a good one to get the robots in space to.
I mean, fuck it. Maybe we'll watch it and we will be the aliens.
We just need we need our silhouettes. We have to figure out the silhouettes.
Yeah, we'll just do cardboard cutouts and just be off the side drinking and pretend it's us talking there. We're really drinking over there.
It'll be hard to see the beard from the back.
Yeah.
Oh no.
We could like make our own creatures, out of like random junk, and then we have like each different cool silhouettes. That way we don't all just look like people, really.
Yeah. I'd probably make my creature look like junk.
Yeah.
Because I'm just that kind of person.
That's
like the talking penis said some funny shit.
Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah. No, I mean like my junk. Like I would make my junk look like my junk.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah. So it'd be like you guys are sitting next to a big penis.
So it would look like an acorn.
Short and squat.
I'd make it I'd have to blow it up.
Like a cheese wheel?
I don't know. Maybe I just put some maybe if I put maybe if I make it life size and then I take I'll make a penis pump out of junk and then I don't know, this shit's off the rails. I don't know what's wrong. So I had this weird thing the other day though. I was thinking about eggs. Because I was like aliens, eggs. I don't know. I was thinking about like eggs because I got some of these guys and they're little 3D printed alien eggs from the movie Aliens. And I was thinking about eggs and I was like, you know what? Eggs is one of the few things that I can think about that like the more you think about it, the more disgusting it becomes. Like you think about eggs and you're like, oh, that's cool. Like I like eggs, like scrambled eggs are cool or whatever. But then like really like when you really are like, I'm going to think about eggs for 10 minutes straight and everything that has to do with them, it just gets worse and worse the more you think about it.
Don't think about it.
I'm not even going to get into it. I just want you to do it someday when you have nothing else to do and just you're going to text me and be like, dude, I was thinking about eggs and like, yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
Basis of life. Yeah.
What I got to say about that? Yeah. Eggs? Not even alien eggs. I mean, I'm just talking about like even just chicken eggs. Like it really, when you get down to it and then you think about like eggs and the beginning of creatures and consuming them and everything, I don't know. It just gets fucking weird. It's like a rabbit hole in your head. No. Anyway, fuck it. Maybe.
Yeah. No. I think all of us were taking a moment to let it sink in.
We were waxing poetic about eggs there for a minute.
I mean, you guys just one day sit there and be like, "I've got 10 minutes. I'm going to think about eggs and let me know what you think." That's all I'm saying.
I'll do it before I go to bed tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Tomorrow you're going to be like, "Yo, that egg thing is weird." Let us know how
those dreams happen.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, there's so many things and even with horror movies, there's so many practical applications for eggs. Just in general. I mean, I could probably make 15 horror movies about eggs right now. I'm not going to. We're almost out of time, but I could. So we are getting close to the end of our show here. So if anybody has anything that they want to really like drive home about aliens, and maybe this is a multi-show topic in a way because there's just a lot of alien things, and there's a lot of, I mean, there's so much we could get into. And a matter of fact, I mean, I want to talk about the crop circles a little bit. What do you guys think that shit is? Like, for real? Because, I mean, they show up everywhere. Yeah. I mean, are crop circles like the clown thing? Remember the clown thing? People were doing it all around the world, like scaring the shit out of people.
I believe so. As even back in the depths of even as a kid, I was like, I think that's people making those things. And I think that's the case. I think people were making those, and it's harder to do that now with more cameras everywhere and cell phone cameras and stuff like that. I mean, just like the old home videos of UFOs, you don't see UFO videos as much anymore because cameras are more prevalent, and that's not a good sign for the I want to believe side of things. Yeah. But then you hear the military stuff, and that's pretty solid, and it's it's on radar, and we get radar imagery, and then that's interesting. That's the new serious thing, like camcorders, where you can if it's fewer of them. People can do edits, and there's not a lot to refute that. I think it's different now, but I think crop circles were never legitimate. The believe side of me doesn't think that was legitimate.
Well, I mean, that's fucking. I mean, that right there kind of tells me that I probably shouldn't believe in them. If you're the alien guy and you believe in aliens, and you were taught to believe in aliens as a kid, and you don't think so, Because I thought it was a hoax too. I was like, somebody did that shit, it got attention. So, or maybe somebody's traveling. I don't know. But like, I don't know. That whole thing was kind of weird. But then when you do see them from the sky, you're also like, how could somebody organize that to be like a perfect circle from the ground? Could we do that? Could we make a perfect circle on the ground?
I watched. I watched. You probably saw the same thing where guys recreated it and they showed it on a show back on the History Channel. And I mean, it's so tempting to get sucked into these documentary shows, like 1 hour programs on history, TLC, Discovery, because they're going to sell it. Obviously, we all know that they're going to sell it. They have a budget. They're getting paid. It's their job. They can't just do a 1 minute episode. That's all bullshit. It's not real. They got to string you along.
It's made to suck you in, so you just want to watch the next episode that much more.
Yeah.
So they're made specifically to do that.
I have a DirecTV stream now, and they just recently added a channel called Alien Nation, and I put that shit on. They got me.
And speaking of which, the Scorpions made an amazing song called Alien. Throwing that in there. If you haven't heard it, you should. It's a great song.
It is pretty good.
Jen, what do you think about these crop circles? I mean, I totally believe that they're fake, but I'm also like, I'm a pretty creative guy, and I don't know if I can make a perfect circle in a fucking wheat field. What do you think?
I mean, I remember reading some books about it when I was younger. I don't remember what book series it was. But it was all like the cryptid stuff, like with Bigfoot, and they had the crop circle thing and the Bermuda Triangle and all those different little books. I remember being kind of interested in it, but the crop circle thing, I don't know. I just didn't really like get into it. I didn't find it that fascinating. I do kind of think it's probably just people. But I don't really know for sure. I don't really have that much of an opinion on it.
I feel like crop circles are kind of like the
creepy clowns,
weird land mounds that they made in Central America, where you see these like giant birds and animals that are miles long. You don't know what they are from the ground, but as soon as you get up into the air, you see these massive things. Why are these? Why do they build these? And then like you hear about what Native Americans believed with like the Star People and like why they have the Kachina dolls, which are basically like weird little astronaut suits for aliens and all these other possibilities. I don't know where crop circle started, but it's just a form of, to me at least, just paying, I wouldn't say paying homage, but it's making something for it's human made in my eyes now. As a kid, I never really would think that, I would never try to debate it because I was too young and I was just like, oh yeah, it's aliens, blah blah blah. But now they don't need that.
It's like the face on Mars. That was such a legit thing back in the late 90s. Like the face on Mars was a face on Mars, and now I saw actually like a couple weeks ago of more modern imagery of what that was. And when you get the shadows out of the way, it's just clearly it's a mountain. But they made whole documentaries on that when I was a kid. That's wild.
Well, the first thing we want to see, and I know this because I do a lot of abstract art, is people always want to see a face and shit. Like as humans, that's one thing we always look for, a face and shit.
And they made a movie with Gary Sinise, by the way, on that whole thing.
Our brain wants to recognize something familiar, so it automatically tries to find a face. The Man on the Moon, Face on Mars. It's you'll be looking in the woods and see something.
Jesus Christ on a piece of toast.
Exactly.
Or cheese it Christ.
Yeah. I mean, they see Jesus everywhere. But if you're a hammer, everything's a nail. If you're really religious, you see Jesus everywhere. So,
or the devil.
Okay, so, the devil.
One or the other.
Yeah.
So, which is funny because I make the abstract art and stuff, and a lot of people, it's really interesting to see what people see in it because I've had art shows and stuff where like I'll be standing next to one person and they're like, "Oh, it's like this, beautiful blah blah blah, and it's so nice." And I see and then the next person I'm standing next to is like, "That's fucking Satan." And you're just like, I mean, it's almost like the Rorschach, where it's just like I'm standing there listening to people tell me what my artwork is, and I'm just like, you might need fucking help. Like, I'm not really sure what kind of help, but it's a possibility you may need some kind of fucking mental assessment or something at this point. And once again, I know we're running out here, but I just want to say, pyramids. How the fuck did they do that? Is that aliens?
That's the theory.
But is it? Because I
And
mean,
a
honestly,
long-running theory too.
Yeah.
but I mean, fucking, and that's another thing I saw in AI, and it was a joke, obviously, but they were like, this is a picture of people putting the pyramids up, and it was like a shitload of dudes holding up a giant fucking rock. But like, I don't know. Maybe we should end there. But what is the theory? Do you guys think? You guys believe pyramids is aliens?
I've never entertained it fully, but I've seen images of what is the word, hieroglyph? Is that the right way to say it?
Yeah, the hieroglyph,
that are a little funny looking. You never know, but they look pretty spacey. So
I mean, it could just
humans have lost a lot of technology over the countless years of our existence. So if something came along and nudged it in a certain direction, I'm not opposed to that, but I think personally that it's just something that we figured out, kind of like Greek fire, that humans had for a while, and we just lost the technology.
I don't know, man. I mean, if that's the case, then I have to believe in something like Atlantis, because there had to be some kind of, I don't know, some kind of more modern or futuristic even civilization or something that may have been wiped off the planet, or maybe we did restart or something. But I mean, if it's not aliens, then it has to be like an Atlantis situation or something, like some kind of technological disaster or something where we lost, that kind of shit. I mean, if it's not aliens, it's got to be that. You can't tell me 10,000 fucking Egyptians carried these goddamn rocks, because they're holy fuck, man. It'd be like, I mean, imagine that scene in A Million Ways Down in the West where the guy got crushed by the ice. I mean, that was like a fraction of the size of one of those stones that goes in the pyramid. I mean,
how did they cut them? Like, there's so many different things to talk about for that.
How did they cut them? I mean, it would have taken 1,000,000 years for somebody to cut that by hand. Like, I mean, they'd still be fucking cutting it by hand right now. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, like, what do you got? Somebody up there sanding it? Like, I don't know, because they seem smooth. Has anybody ever been to Egypt? And Rob, you've been to Egypt. Have you seen pyramids up close?
I've actually not been to Egypt. I've been to Saudi Arabia, Kenya, like around there, and then up into Europe. But I have not been to.
So the short answer is you've never seen a pyramid?
No. Have not.
That was going to be my
I've seen a lot of old ancient ruins and whatnot. I haven't even seen a ziggurat. If you want to spread the basis.
Okay. All right then. I mean, on that note, we've hit our time. So, did you guys want to do recommendations? Tyler, if you're not familiar with the show, a lot of people aren't. It's okay. We do a recommendation movies at the end of the show, because that's kind of what we're based around, is a little bit of like a horror thriller suspense type movie situation. And that's what we do. So we just kind of go around and say, hey, I've seen this recently, or this has to do with the topic we've been talking about. Yeah. Anyway, I think you get the gist of it.
Yeah, I've got one.
Let's do it.
So it's a movie we didn't talk about, and I can just throw it out there, and some of you guys may have seen it, but some people may not have. It's not the type of alien movie so much as we've talked about. It's called Arrival. It was really well acclaimed. It had Jeremy Renner in it, and the starring actress, I'm blanking on her name, but it had a lot to do with language. It had a lot to do with timeline and different things like that. It's got kind of a deeper story, human life-based story, like a lot of good sci-fi has. So Arrival, good director. Look it up. And if you've not seen it, any of you guys or anybody out there, I watched that in theaters actually. Really, really good movie based on aliens, but it's not the type of alien movie, like scary alien movie that we're talking about, but just a good story.
And that's not to be confused with The Arrival with Charlie Sheen.
Right. Yeah. That was a scary one with the legs crick back. That was,
Actually, really
just Arrival.
Yeah. I really like The Arrival. I've never seen Arrival.
Scary. That was scary as a kid, that movie with Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen was great in that movie. That was a really great movie.
That was the one we missed, actually. Yeah, that was one of the ones from my childhood in that bucket. So good catch.
So they were insectoid because of the legs, right? Because they had kind of insectoid legs.
Yeah.
I think.
The scene where he goes down into the ship and has to in the skies, good tension.
Yeah.
Very good tension.
Yeah, that was a great. If you guys haven't seen that, you should see that. Fuck it, that's my recommendation.
There you go.
Yeah.
Arrival and The Arrival.
You got anything Arrival based, Rob?
We didn't talk about another alien movie, which is going to be my recommendation, called Dark Skies.
Okay.
Which sticks with the horror theme of what we normally do here on PsychOpinion. And it is an abduction movie, kind of. It's more of these aliens are messing with specific groups of people, like families and whatnot.
Like Tyler's family.
Pretty much.
Yep.
So Tyler's family would have been prime picking for the aliens in Dark Skies. But I feel like it's one of the better horror movies that involve aliens. It does have a lot of good, just kind of scare the pants off you scenes and moments. So that's going to be my recommendation.
That works for me because I typically don't like wearing pants. That'll save me the trouble of taking them off myself.
Yeah. We'll see what else it scares off you.
Maybe all of my hair, and then I can be like an alien. Jen, what you got?
I mean, I want to say one of my favorite alien movies is, of course, The Thing. But we've briefly talked about that movie, I think, before in previous episodes.
We probably talked about that as much as Cold Skin.
Maybe.
You should watch.
And I think, and I think we've also talked about Annihilation, but that would also be a pick as well because I really like Annihilation. Yeah, I know you like it too, Rob. But that's got some really cool visuals and creatures.
Got a little bit of every cool parts of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got it all, and your pants will stay on. I'm guessing they wouldn't. All right,
the pants might mutate. I don't know.
There we go.
Mutate.
Yeah.
Well, as long as they don't become slimy.
Oh, I wish they do. I hope they do.
Shut up, Jen. This has probably been the most sexually explicit weird episode we've ever done. So this one's good.
Well, we started talking about genderless grays, so it set the precedent.
I tried to bring it there, but y'all weren't biting. So
it's just you can't get too explicit about a mound. That's all it is. It's just a mound of nothing.
Yeah, but what about like Species? Wasn't that Charlize Theron in Species? Was that?
It wasn't Charlize Theron. It was someone else.
I don't remember her name.
They're really
we might
hot,
have to save that for
Aliens
Part 2.
Yeah, for Aliens. Because it would be Aliens. Because it'd be the second one.
Maybe we can get my twin brother in and see what his experiences were compared to myself.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
We need to find out what the difference was in the childhood. We're going to save that for Aliens 2, the sequel. And to finish this off, as always, I'm going to go ahead and space. No one can hear you scream.
You've been listening to PsychOpinion. If it's anything horror, we're talking about it.